Sonic's Green Hills Adventure, Season 5, Chapter 7, The Sonic Movies. Modern Sonic's point of view.
Alright, now follow me to the theater room.
Marina said as soon as we were inside the house. A theater room? That's so cool! I exclaimed as we followed her. Just then, however, there was an all-capped door.
I'll get it.
Marina said and dashed to the door.
Hey there, Tom, Maddie, and Longpaw. You're just in time to see the movies with us.
Marina said as they entered.
Great, that's why we're here.
Maddie replied and they joined us. Then we arrived at, oh my gosh, it was amazing.
Alright, Sonic, it's set up for projecting the films from your phone now. So let's get this marathon started.
Then we got settled. Marina sat next to Movie Sonic and I sat on his other side. We were sandwiched comfortably in between the rest of the Wachowski family, and our friends sat in the row behind us. Then Movie Sonic began the first movie. It started with showing us Movie Sonic living on Mobius right before the Echidna ambush. Hearing about it was one thing. It was a whole new level to actually see it happen. I glanced at the others to see their reactions to it, and they were just as horrified as I was. Movie Sonic was hugging Marina tightly for comfort, and she gladly returned it. Then a few minutes later, Movie Sonic was at the baseball field. The look in his eyes as he started to run after the blunt realization of just how alone he was hit him was both hard and easy to read somehow. He was tired of that life and scared. Then we saw him meet Tom and Robotnik for the first time. Wait, that's your Eggman? Really? I said out loud when I saw him in full view.
Yeah, that's it. Why? What does your Eggman look like?
Movie Sonic asked me, so I pulled out a photo of Eggman out of my quills and handed it to him.
Whoa! No wonder you were so thrown off by mine. I see where the nickname came from for yours.
Movie Sonic said as he handed the photo back to me. Yep, though I don't understand when it comes to yours, Movie, I said as I stared at the man on screen and tilted my head in confusion.
Don't worry, Modern. You'll see in a moment.
Then I saw what he meant as a drone appeared and it was white and shaped like an egg. I bursted out laughing. Oh, I get it now. That's hilarious, I said as I offered Movie Sonic a high five, to which he happily obliged.
Thanks, Modern.
He said as we returned our attention back to the movie. Next we saw Tom and Movie Sonic in a bar called the Piston Pit.
Ooh, guys, I know you're looking forward to this because you wished you were there to see it when I told you about it.
Movie Sonic said excitedly. I wasn't sure what he was talking about at first, but then all that changed when a gang walked up to them. They called them hipsters, and Movie Sonic decided to teach them a lesson. Time slowed down to the point where it looked like everyone was doing the mannequin challenge. Movie Sonic messed with the people and saved Tom. And when time came back to normal, the domino effect happened thanks to Movie Sonic's elaborate prank. Whoa, I guess you really are faster than me. I've never been able to go that fast, I said dumbfounded.
Yes, I knew it. Thanks, Modern.
Sonic, that was awesome. So worth the hype. You certainly are the prank master.
Crystal said as she offered a high five, and once again, Movie Sonic obliged. Now they were in a motel and Tom asked Movie Sonic about the planet he was supposed to go to once they got his rings back. My heart broke at seeing him so depressed, and the mushroom planet sounded miserable and lonelier than ever. Thank goodness I know somehow he gets his happiness in the end. But the how was going to be the interesting part. Then Tom tried to demand, "Aw, you two are so cute," I said, but I couldn't help it.
Thanks, Modern. It's one of the things Marina loves about me.
Movie Sonic said confidently as he kisses Marina's cheek. Then the Eggman sent a tank after them. It was an amazing action scene. However, this guy's robots were way more persistent than modern Eggman's badniks. Eventually, the bomb was nothing more than a sticky bomb stuck to Movie Sonic. It took several attempts, but they managed to get it to stick to a rock. However, Movie Sonic clearly didn't understand how bombs work, and didn't get out of the way properly, and was hit by the blast. Oh my gosh! I cried in shock. He looked horrible, and I felt my heart stop, and I put my hand over my muzzle in horror. I looked over to Movie Sonic next to me. He had tears in his eyes. so I gave him a firm side hug to support him. Man, I underestimated this guy. He's even worse than modern Eggman more than I thought, I said once I saw that movie Sonic was okay.
Wait, really?
Yep, modern Eggman's bots were never this relentless, I replied as I shuddered at the thought of having to deal with this guy. Then they arrived in San Francisco and entered Rachel's house, but Rachel tried everything to keep them from coming in before Maddie interfered. Yikes, and I thought Amy was scary, I said as I saw the sisters argue.
Really?
She's terrifying when she's angry, I replied as they all looked at a picture I had that showed Amy with her Pico Pico hammer.
Whoa, that's a big hammer she's got there. Is that why she's scary when she's angry?
Yep, so it's best to stay on her good side if you ever meet your world's version of her, I replied as I put the picture away. Then we saw Robotnik chasing Movie Sonic around the world thanks to Movie Sonic using his portal rings, right before he got blasted through the final one in Egypt that led to Green Hills. Seeing him so still and beat up like that was too much for me, as I remembered he was much younger than I was when it came to this. I saw Marina put her hands over her mouth in horror right before hugging Sonic, who was stunned too.
Oh gosh, no wonder you guys thought I was dead for a few minutes there. You couldn't even see my chest press involved with my breaths.
Movie Sonic finally said his tears fell from his eyes and he turned to look at his parents. He then immediately hugged them tightly.
I love you guys so much. I don't know where I'd be without you.
Movie Sonic said as he cried in their arms. It didn't take him long to calm down, though he stayed close to them for the rest of the movie. All of us cheered as we watched Movie Sonic and Tom work together to banish Robotnik to the Mushroom Planet.
Wow, what a first adventure.
Marina said as the credits rolled.
Yep, it sure was. Man, this was cool to see it through a theatrical lens.
Movie Sonic said as he prepared to play the sequel. It started with showing us Robotnik on the Mushroom Planet. He looks not only more insane, but completely miserable. I looked over to Movie Sonic and saw that he was scared. Whoa, you weren't kidding, Movie. That place is awful. I'm so glad you didn't end up there, I said as I did my best to comfort him. Then we saw Robotnik send out a distress beacon using Movie Sonic's quill, and later that night a ring portal opened. These strange robot beings came through at first, but they were defeated easily by Robotnik. Just as he was about to go through the portal, someone else came through, catching him so off guard that he fell mid-run. It was Movie Knuckles. I quickly looked at Movie Sonic, who was shaking nervously. Me and Marina immediately hugged him. This Knuckles was very intimidating, which was the last thing I expected. And he had a slightly buffer build. When he spoke, his voice was deep, even more so than modern Knuckles. And they planned to go after Movie Sonic. What was most surprising of all was he didn't even need to be tricked into attacking Sonic, because he was already after him. I said, which was rare for me to say. Then we saw Movie Sonic stop being a bank robbery in Seattle. Whoa, interesting start to your heroic career, I said as I giggled.
Well, remember that's main timeline me. As for me, myself, never did that kind of work.
Well, that's good to know, I said in relief. Then we saw Movie Sonic and Tom go fishing. But Movie Sonic was asleep from being out so late last night and fell overboard. What was strange was that he couldn't swim, since the Movie Sonic next to me never had that problem. Then Tom gave him some really moving advice. Then we saw that Tom and Maddie were going to Hawaii for Rachel's wedding, and the way they got there was through a portal ring. Aw, that's so cute, Movie. I'm glad in both timelines you got what you've been wanting for so many years, I said as the scene played out like they were at an airport.
Me too, Modern.
That Movie Sonic did Home Alone shenanigans that had me laughing to the point of tears. Oh wow, Movie Sonic, did you ever do that? I asked as I calmed down my laughter.
Actually, no, I haven't.
Then we saw Movie Tails arrive and was implied to steal a police car to find Movie Sonic.
Aw, Movie Tales is so adorable.
Then, just as Movie Sonic and Ozzy were about to settle in for a movie night, the power went out and Robotnik broke in through the front door and threatened Movie Sonic's family, including Ozzy. It angered him so much that he launched himself at Robotnik, ready to punch him very hard in the face. But Robotnik moved out of the way to reveal Knuckles doing the same, only aiming for Movie Sonic, which he wasn't prepared for. Knuckles punched Movie Sonic through not only the wall, but through the TV, and him landing on the couch, practically breaking it. Oh my gosh! Our Knuckles is strong, but nothing like this! I said as my jaw dropped. Then Movie Knuckles punched him through the back wall into the backyard. This time, it was almost completely gone. Jeez. How strong is this guy? Talk about a one-sided fight. I said it as his strength kept catching me off guard. Then Movie Sonic charged up and was attempting to spin dash at Knuckles. However, Knuckles caught him with just one hand, pushing Movie Sonic back as he was still spinning in his ball form. Then punched Movie Sonic hard into the ground, which also caused him to bounce off the ground, and Knuckles caught him by the neck and stranded him into a tree, holding him in a chokehold. I then heard Movie Sonic whimpering next to me. Of course he was terrified. This guy was something else, and he was already shaken up thanks to his night terror, so I hugged him. Knuckles questioned Movie Sonic about the location of the Master Emerald, which of course only confused Movie Sonic even more. Then he told Movie Sonic that Longclaw and her tribe stole it and destroyed the Echidna tribe. But they were suddenly interrupted by the sound of the police car coming, and just as Knuckles was about to punch it, the car knocked him into the shed, destroying it.
That was awesome!
This led to an exhilarating chase as Tails explained that Knuckles was in search of the Master Emerald, which in this reality was just a myth that Knuckles believed was real. He wasn't already its guardian. Once they escaped, they sought refuge in Wade's garage. There, a holographic message from Longclaw appeared. It told Movie Sonic to find the emerald and protect it, but implied that she's dead. I turned to Movie Sonic fearfully. He was stunned with horrified, teary eyes. Before I could say anything, he dashed over to Longclaw and hugged her tightly as he stomped into her feathers. After several minutes, he calmed down and returned to his seat. Then they went to Siberia because the compass that would lead them to the emerald was there. However, they arrived in the middle of a blizzard, so they had to seek shelter in a nearby cabin, which turned out to be some sort of bar. However, Tails' translator malfunctioned and upset the people in the cabin, which led to the coolest dance battle I've ever seen. It's mostly thanks to Tails' hologram copies being backup dancers.
Wow, that was incredible!
Marina said, taking the words right out of my mouth. Later on, they were confronted by Robotnik and Knuckles again, snowboarding down the mountain. Now at a cliff, Movie Sonic and Knuckles had a quiet moment, talking about the day they both lost everything. But then Tails unknowingly interfered, which led to Robotnik getting the compass and Tails getting hurt. No way, I said shakily, realizing how much I missed modern Tails. All of this caused an avalanche. Movie Sonic acted quickly by grabbing Movie Tails and snowboarding away as he called Tom. Once they were safely on the other side of the portal, gun agents revealed themselves and tased Movie Sonic while Tails was still unconscious. Oh my gosh! I cried out as he was tased.
Oh man, I'm getting flashbacks of the gun headquarters incident.
What do you mean? I asked, being caught off guard. Then Movie Sonic and Shadow told me it was when they met. Also, I realized how different Movie Shadow was from modern Shadow. As we returned our attention back to the movie, we saw Maddie and Rachel defeat Gun and save Movie Sonic, Tails, and Tom. However, Tails was still unconscious. No way. If I were ever to meet Movie Eggman, I'd make him pay for that. I said as this made me think of terrifying thoughts of this happening to my little buddy. Thankfully, just as Movie Sonic left to go after the emerald, Tails woke up, but he couldn't fly yet. I was so glad Maddie was a vet and was there to help him. What we saw next left me speechless. Movie Sonic ran across the water like Dash from The Incredibles. However, that was the lake. This was a stormy, unpredictable ocean, so it didn't go so well. Then finally he arrived in front of the Master Emerald, and so Movie Sonic and Knuckles fought with a more evenly matched battle. Movie Sonic worked his way around Knuckles' strength and was slamming him into the stone stairs repeatedly. Wow, you just let it out on him. But I don't blame you, I said as we were cheering. However, Robotnik was using this as a distraction so he could get the emerald. Oh, what a dirty trick! I explained as Movie Sonic and Knuckles realized too late what Robotnik was doing. He vanished with the emerald and the temple began to fall apart and get flooded. But thanks to helping each other, they got out of there alive. Then they had a conversation that led to their friendship. Wow, that was so sweet, I said happily. Then Tails arrived in a plane and he was all better. Then they returned to Green Hills to stop Robotnik, who was now Super Robotnik now? He used his power to create a robot? Wait, is that the Death Egg robot? Only massive? I said as I recognized it, though the modern one was never this big. Thankfully, Movie Sonic had a plan. He distracted Robotnik by egging him on, while Tails and Knuckles snuck in from behind. But then, Robotnik used eye lasers to destroy a large bridge that Movie Sonic was on, causing him to fall down below, hard. Oh geez, that was harsh, I said as I looked over and saw that Movie Sonic was whimpering in worry. Thankfully, Tails and Knuckles succeeded in getting the Master Emerald out of Robotnik. However, Robotnik had a backup plan, a backup power generator. Meanwhile, Movie Sonic saw the emerald and he looked pretty beat up. Despite that, he tried to get up, but collapsed at the first few attempts. Then he proceeded to limp ever so slowly closer to the emerald. But due to the size of the massive Death Egg robot, Movie Sonic was barely escaping very close calls of being stepped on. Once he finally got the emerald, he collapsed once more, slowly taking the emerald in his hands. But just before he could be stepped on, Tom and Maddie arrived in a truck, just in time for Maddie to scoop him up and the emerald up, and get out of the way of the foot, which caused us to cheer. However, my heart practically stopped as I saw Robotnik punch the ground, causing the truck to flip over and land upside down, then trapping the family in a ring of fire and ready to step on them. Oh my gosh, my assumptions were right, but I wasn't expecting that, I said looking at Movie Sonic, who was frozen with a 1,000-yard stare, not being able to look away, despite wanting to. He was trembling like a leaf. When I looked back at the screen, Movie Sonic begged his parents to get away from him, but they didn't leave, and the three of them braced themselves, leaving there for their inevitable deaths. Next to me, I heard Movie Sonic dash and sobbing into his parents' arms. But then, I noticed something. I quickly got Movie Sonic's attention. Wait, Movie Me, look! I said excitedly as we all saw the Chaos Emeralds begin to float and went flying towards Movie Sonic's chest. Then the foot was lifted to reveal that they were alright, and being saved by Movie Supersonic. Whoa, your supersonic form looks cooler than mine, I said as we all cheered really loudly as Movie Sonic defeated Robotnik's Death Egg robot. However, Robotnik fell as the robot exploded below him. Guys, did he just die? I asked hesitantly.
Most likely. It would be sheer luck if he survived that.
Hey, guess that's where I differ from him, since I had him locked up instead.
Then he floated down as Tom and Maddie ran up to him, but Knuckles warned them not to touch him, believing he's dangerous now. But instead, Movie Supersonic summoned a chili dog in the most misleading and dramatic way possible. This caused us to burst into laughter. Then Movie Sonic went back to normal as Tom and Natty ran up to him and hugged him, while Knuckles fixed the emerald. That's when Tails and Knuckles decided to stay on Earth with Movie Sonic to protect the Master Emerald. Whoa, I just realized how small the Master Emerald is here. The one from my world is bigger than me, and it's only Mon and Knuckles guarding it, I said as I finally got a good look at it.
Really? That's insane!
Then I couldn't stop smiling as I watched them play baseball together and Movie Sonic called Tom Dad for the first time.
Hey guys, let's keep watching. I have a hunch there's a post-cred scene coming up.
And she was right. It was Gunn finding out about Project Shadow, and then we saw him in a cryostasis chamber. Movie Shadow was freaking out as we all cheered.
Movie Sonic's point of view.
Wow. Just wow. Our timeline really did branch off, as I completely stunned as I turned off the movie. But now, I realized it was time to tell them what happened last night.